Okay, hello everyone. We are back again today to talk about effects and resampling, something very near and dear to my heart. So first of all, yeah, let's just try and get some sort of sound. Let's see if I have. Okay, I actually have a bar sample pack. Let's see. That's kind of cool. Okay, yeah, let's start with that, right? So first of all, drag something in, and the first thing is just understanding like the effects that you have and what some of the basic ones are, right? Before we get into the really craziness. So effects are over here, audio effects. There's a ton of different ones. If yours looks different, it's probably because you have them grouped in folders like this. I find the folders kind of annoying, so I right click and I unclick that option just so I have what's going on, just so I have them all listed out, right? So you can explore these and try and figure this out. Obviously, we've talked about auto filter, but let's talk about some of the other ones that might be interesting to you. So I think we've talked about a little bit about delay, right? So all you're going to do is click and drag this onto the track. Right, so you'll notice what delay does, right, is that it kind of creates those repeats and echoes. There's reverb, there's two ones, reverb and hybrid reverb. Right, so reverb makes it sound like it's in a bigger space, right? Then there are a bunch of distortion plugins, so if we take amp, like a guitar amp, that's not too loud. But yes, so those kind of make the sound more distorted. Same with overdrive. Maybe I'll just turn this down a little. Versus, right? Pedal does the same thing. Some other fun ones. I really like grain delay. This one gets pretty crazy. Turn the feedback up. Spray maybe. A lot of weird stuff going on there. And yeah, I feel like some of your other kind of more standard effects we were talking about maybe with the upsetters, the phaser, right? So we talked a lot about reverb and delay, obviously, when it comes to dub. Where is our phaser? How can I see this? Phaser flanger, there we go. So, right, so I'll really turn the feedback up here. Right, so you'll notice that with these effects, a lot of them will have this dry wet. Dry wet is basically saying if you reduce the dry down to 0, that means none of the effect is being applied. If you put it all the way up to 100, that means you're only hearing the affected signal. Right, so that's just normal. And that has a lot more. Now there are some ones, again, like usually if you do more feedback or more delay, time is going to make things longer and more exaggerated. Obviously amount, right, is usually going to do that. So you don't need to worry about every single little thing. But if you just Google, actually, the Ableton documentation is decent. But yeah, generally what you're going to be, each effect has kind of a specific thing that is going to help control more or less of it. But a lot of times thinking about dry wet, feedback, amount, start there. But it's also kind of fun and an adventure to explore things. And so let's say you get out spectral resonator, right? And you're like, okay, right? So look, like, the biggest knob, try messing around with the biggest knob. But if you're not really sure what stuff does, what you can do is you can right click on this arrow and there will be like different presets, right? So right. And so looking at the different presets can also be like a good way of kind of understanding what some of these do. Now, just be aware, some of these effects are a bit more like technical, so they're not really going to affect the sound in that crazy of a way. Things like any sort of compressor, that is more about volume. There's a little bit of a technical thing. You can do some crazy stuff with it, but it requires a little bit more understanding what's going on. The filter we talked about. Pan is about the left and right. So if you put headphones on, right, moving it from the left headphone to the right headphone. Beat repeat's got some crazy stuff. Cabinet is another like distortion sort of thing. EQ, we've kind of talked about, that's a little bit like the filter, right? Chorus ensemble, that's like the phaser stuff. Corpus is kind of crazy. Delay is kind of crazy. Dynamic tube is a little hard to use, but it's got some interesting stuff. Drum bus, that's another distortion thing. Echo, that's another kind of like delay, reverb sort of thing. Erosion is fun. Filter delay, check out some of the presets. Same with grain delay. Overdrive pedal, phaser, redux can be fun. Resonators can be fun. Shifter is kind of good. So again, some of them like Spectrum and Tuner and Utility are not going to do as much, but check out some of the ones I talked about. Vocoder can be very fun. Again, a little bit more of a learning curve. But yeah, so begin to check them out, and you know, some of them obviously you can use in more subtle ways. And in terms of making the sound louder or brighter, or changing the character of different sounds, things like that. But today we're really here to talk about like, okay, how can we get crazy with this? And luckily you don't have to be particularly technical about it. So what I suggest you do is start to mess around with these, explore some of them, and then just pick a couple that you like. So it's good. So I think this is kind of cool. I'm going to get the overdrive in there, maybe the redux. Right, that's kind of cool. So now what we can start to do that's exciting is if we click on one effect and we hold shift and click on the add one, you can see I've selected all of the effects. I can go right click, group, or Command G, right? Now I can click this little knob in the left-hand side over here. It's going to give us these different macros, right? Now what these do is basically just, we can map certain parameters on here to these macros. So I'm going to go through and I'm just going to like right click on, say, the dry wet here, map that to macro 1. So once you spend some time exploring and you know which of the parameters kind of, you know, do a more relevant thing, right, you can begin to map the ones that you are interested in to these, right? And you'll see why that's useful in a moment. Right, and there's a ton. You can do 16, there will even be more will show up, right? Now, where this starts to get cool is that then you can hit rand here. And what that will do is randomly change all of these different parameters. And you can start to get some really crazy sounds. Right, and you can also get in there and begin to mess around with certain things, right? Right, and that's cool because you also get like the sound of the parameters moving rather than with the random where they just are fixed to certain things. And so then where it gets really, really exciting is you can create a new audio track by clicking Command T. And then over here where it says X'd in, you want to change that to resampling. And this is where things get really exciting. And then what we're going to do is, much like when we were recording onto a MIDI track, we're going to hit the record button here. We're going to go click to the beginning of our loop and we're going to hit record. and it's going to start recording. And then what you can do is start manipulating these things live. Right? And you can even get in here and maybe start, you know, manipulating some stuff about the clip if you want. And then we'll go back to here. Oh, sorry, to here. Right, okay, great. So now if you click this, obviously it's been recording in a loop, but it's still, if you go to the side and you get this little like C shape kind of thing, you can pull it out and you can see that everything you have done is still there, right? Now, what I would say is, what can be really exciting then is to go to this track. And now let's grab a few more effects. Let's grab some different ones this time. So I'm going to go to Echo. I'm going to do, we'll get some really crazy ones here. Let's get Amp going. Let's get Chorus Ensemble. Let's get Corpus. Oh, sorry. Corpus, that should be enough. Then I'm going to, again, click the top bar of the effect, hold Shift, and then click the top bar of the rightmost effect, and then hit Command G to group them, and then go to this little knob button here, and then again begin to map things. Okay, great. And now got some lightsaber sounds there. So again, now we can go again and change. So again, hit Command T to create a new track, turn this to resampling, then again, arm this track for recording, and then hit record. Exciting. And then again, I'm sort of interested in destructive processes sometimes, so let's just delete this other stuff. Yeah, and you can keep it all if you like, but why not? Let's just work with this, right? So so this is the process that we went through in class, and hopefully I will have gotten all of you guys to upload the craziness that you created to the Google Drive. So go take a look at other people's, part of your requirement for your assignment is to use someone else's craziness, right? Now, what you want to do is let's go back through and listen, and again, create another audio track below. And this time, anything that you're interested in, I want you to start kind of pulling it down to this track. So, right, so like, I mean, that's pretty cool. So we'll take that. Oh. Okay, so we have like a nice sound here. And again, you might notice I'm zooming in and out very quickly because I'm using Command plus Scroll to zoom in and out. For you guys, if you want to do that, if you have a mouse, you can. But you can also be grabbing the timeline to move in and out here. You should be able to do the horizontal scroll on your trackpad. Okay, kind of like this. That's cool too. That's kind of a cool sound too. It's kind of cool. And don't feel like you necessarily have to go through the whole thing and pull out every single little thing. If there's a part you were trying to remember. Okay, yeah. So there's two things you can start to do here. So if this, I want you to engage in this sound design thing, but if you are someone who is like, yeah, that's cool, but I want to just sort of, again, you know, kind of make a certain very specific type of music. Again, the reason I think this exercise is useful and interesting is because by doing a little bit of your own sound design, right, you can take, say, a beat that's very, very simple, and you can add your own unique flair, just as a little fill or a little touch, right, or a little layer, right? So for example, right, like let's say we were to, so if I were to get like a kick, right, and I'm just gonna do something like this. And then I'll get a snare. Oh. Okay, so we have something very simple. Just turn this up a little. Okay. Right, so very straightforward, right? But we have this, so let's see how we can start to incorporate some of these sounds into here to kind of liven this up, right? So one thing to do is think about layering, right? So maybe I'll layer this in with the snare. Right? Or maybe I can consolidate it using Command J, and then I can reverse it here at the end. And maybe I'll pitch it down. Right? Let's look at some of the other stuff we have. Right? So now, like, maybe for the hats, we can use this. Notice there's that very low sound, so again, I'm going to use that auto filter, and I'm going to switch it to this mode so that we can take that low bass sound out. Right? And then I'll just kind of line this up a bit more. Right? Right? And then ooh, maybe this actually is what we want. Okay, and then, oh, that could be fun at the end. And maybe we can even get some of this in with the kick. Because it's that bassier sound. Oops. And again, we'll make sure we'll just take a little bit of the low end again. And we'll just lower the volume. You could just, yeah, use it as like a piece of percussion there. That's true. Let's see what yeah, maybe that's not working so well, but do we have anything else here? This. And again, we can also just now start to use this as kind of another yeah, it gets a little maybe pitch all of these up. Right, so you can see how I can kind of enhance, right, a sort of normal loop, and now we've been able to give it kind of this whole new character, right, by going from sorry, what am I doing here? Right, so we kind of had this. Right, which does have this sort of robotic feel to it. It's a bit more electronic, right? But the point is that it kind of adds this character and texture to what are these very basic sounds. Now, the other way you could go with things is saying, okay, I really want to just like make like my own thing, and then you could look for some sort of loop, right? So the best way to start off is kind of, yeah, looking for a loop. See. We go in here and just line that up. Turn the metronome. Let's see if this fits in here. Stretch this out a little. Oh yeah, that's cool. And we can even apply some effects to that. What's it like with this out? Yeah. I'm just liking that. And then maybe take this and reverse it. Some of this might be hard to hear if you're not listening at headphones, by the way. Okay, so let's look for just slightly different things. this is a big one. Let's see. This could be fun. Oh, our tempo is very slow. Okay. This now, let's use this sound. Maybe we'll put some big hybrid reverb on it. Well, 2 of them, no. And let's duplicate the whole thing because I only want to hear that once. Then make a little like fill kind of thing at the end. This is like out of pitch. Right, so, you know, there we go. So you can start to build up a nice little loop there. And again, you know, maybe you build that up and you're like, that's cool, but I'm not like really feeling it. Again, go resample the whole thing. Right, and then we can start the process all over again. Which is, honestly, for the sake of time, I will just take our old... Oh no, we deleted all of them. Good, good, right? So now we have to do something. We cannot be lazy here. Okay, so I'm going to go to... Where is that? Beat repeat. And we're going to go to chopping block. Do a preset beat repeat was good. With the preset, get some... Let's do all presets, actually. That can be a great way to start. Grain delay, yeah. Love grain delay. Love, love grain delay. And saturator, yeah, why not? Okay, great. And then we do the same thing again. Command G, go to our knobs. And I think I'm just gonna do mount. And then these, I mean, really, we can do like every single one of these parameters, to be totally honest. Get a little crazy. And these maybe not so much. Right, so already crazy. Okay, already amazing stuff, so I'm gonna start recording that. Right, so great. So we have some awesome, so we're really starting to get some awesome stuff here. Review our tracks, and maybe give myself a little more space now. So I'm gonna, to get some more space, I'm gonna select, say, 4 bars, and I'm gonna hit Control I, right? And then I'm just gonna delete this, and now, and I'm just gonna use this as our new kick. mean, if you're making techno, I guess that's good. Did we have more of this? Oh, we did, yeah, here it is. Okay, right. Let's just start with this now. Maybe we need that to be. And I'm using this little trick here where I'm holding Shift and Alt and then dragging to move around the clip around. Right, and now maybe we can add in some of our original stuff. Let's get some of the original stuff. Okay, cool. So, I hope you get it. Hope that makes sense. So again, you're welcome to go as far or as not far with this process as you want. We're starting to get into the point of this class where now it's time for you to start giving some attempts at making full songs in kind of styles that might interest you. So if you want to go with this really sound design focused sort of thing, you know, obviously it's a little more geared towards electronic stuff, but not necessarily. You could do less kind of aggressive or dissonant sort of effects. But yeah, so for this week's homework, you're making a full track. So at least 2.5 minutes. Maybe I'll say at least, I'm going to say 3 minutes. I'm going to say 3 minutes. Oh my God, look at that, 3 minutes. It's not even like, that is a lot. But you're going to do it. But you only got to make one, yeah? And again, I'm going to include some links to, and really, you know, I know I wasn't able to show you as usual, like how I would build that out, but I think you've been kind of working on the building blocks of that. And the techniques you've been using to build out those 8 or 16 bar loops really kind of apply to building a full song. So what I would recommend, now it's not going to say it's going to be easy, it's going to feel tough. So if it feels hard and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do or how I'm supposed to make this work or whatever, or like it doesn't sound good, that is okay. But I want you to give it a shot. You may have to make something that you're not totally satisfied with, but that is part of learning. And again, the most important thing is to copy the structure of other songs. Just directly copy them. Right? So listen, write down all the different elements of what happens. I will be providing a list of songs that I think have some basic structures in different genres. Listen to those, you know, hear what they do. And I think you'll discover, you know, it's not as crazy as you might expect. Some techno songs might just start with that, right? Right? Or maybe they just start with the hats or something, right? And they start with some hats and like some other like weird noises, right? So you're like, okay, I gotta get some weird noises in there. And right? So you can see I've kind of been making you with these assigns make kind of with the previous assigns make really like the core of the track, right? And that's the most important part, because then the rest is just really, right, just kind of filling it out, right? So let's see. Oh. Yeah, maybe actually even get some weird stuff in there. Don't break. Right, and then, okay, now we can start to go into like the main part of the track here. Right, and then again using Command-Shift-D. Right, and now once we get to the main part, okay, maybe copy and paste it 4 times. And if you like that, you've got your main thing there, and then you just want to add some little variations, right? So every 4 bars, I'm going to do that. I'm going to take out the kick at like the end to make like a little transition, right? Maybe here we'll take out a whole bunch of stuff, right? In the second half, I'll add like an additional element, right? Right, and so you can see those techniques of little variations that I was going to use, right, can be used on 8 bars, but now they helped us really quickly create this 8-bar section, right? So if we listen, right? And then to like build from there, right? It's kind of like, okay, well now I'm going to take this whole thing, right? And again, maybe in this section we'll have like one thing come out and we'll have something else come in. Right, maybe we'll take out these. It's getting a little crazy, but right, and I want to again do something different here. So maybe get this in, get like a little snare pattern going. What is this? Oh, okay, interesting. So let me take these out. Right, so now right, so it's basically building up these series of variations to get you there in very practical terms. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and always feel free to send me drafts halfway through the week in advance of your submission. Okay guys, cool.